Can the Golden State Warriors, winners of 4 straight, playing on back-to-back nights now without an injured Jimmy Butler, get it done tonight?
This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. We will review the national championship from last night. The Indiana Hoosiers knocking off the Miami Hurricanes, a 6-point win for them. So the underdog cashes, but the Hoosiers a perfect season. We'll talk about that. Also, we have some college basketball picks to get to, but firstly, let's begin in the association as the Warriors on a back-to-back against the Raptors. And do we have a wrong team favored?
What the WTF?
So the good news for Golden State, they won last night. They beat the Miami Heat. The bad news is they lose Jimmy Butler to a torn ACL against his former team. So he's done for the season now. And we have a rematch of the NBA Finals from several years ago. Still weird to see the Warriors and Raptors in the NBA Finals, but they will meet in San Francisco tonight. And the Warriors a short home favorite. Lee, what do you like here with this matchup?
In Toronto, kind of a short turnaround. Played, 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Toronto won 141 to 127. It was an overtime game, December 28th. Remember watching the game, and I'm like, you know what? Even though Toronto had to win it in overtime, they just dominated. Points in the paint that game, 70 to 40, 55 to 42 rebounding edge. Scotty Barnes had an incredible game that night. 23 points, but 25 rebounds, 10 assists, and 3 steals to boot. Golden State, as you mentioned, back-to-back nights now without Jimmy Butler. And they've actually won 6 of the last 7, but now they're probably going to have to go even smaller. Jimmy Butler, really good rebounding forward. So I think they're going to probably bring in Brandon Podziemski. I think he at different times has been in the starting line. He's 6'4", but when he goes in, he's not much of a rebounder, plays more on the perimeter. He had a really good game last night, 24 points off the bench. Also had Buddy Held. He had 16. Al Horford, 10. I don't see those guys duplicating their performance tonight. Toronto off 2 bad losses, Lakers and also the Clippers. So I think they're going to be laser focused here. Golden State is just really small normally, and now, even though they're 25-19, they've had a nice run, 6-1 against the spread. I just don't see him getting that 5th straight win here. I think the wrong team is favored. I'm going to take Toronto plus the points. Might even put some on the money line here, plus 3.5, 4 points. I think it's the way to go. So I think Golden State over the next 10 games are going to come to that realization. No Jimmy Butler. Our season's not going anywhere. We're small. Certain matchups, we're going to have a real tough matchup against a bunch of teams now. And some people will say the first game without a superstar, your second best player, you play the best, but not the case tonight. Wrong team favored. We're going to go with the Toronto Raptors here. Get the job done. Plus the points. Wrong team favored.
And also, too, this is the end of an 8-game homestand for Golden State. So it's been a long stand for them. They go on the road for 4 after this. So, again, the back-to-back could be a tough just scheduling spot besides everything. And now you lose Butler. So we'll see how the Raptors do if they can pull off the season sweep of the Warriors tonight. We'll get some college basketball coming up in a little bit. College football season now wrapped up, and the Indiana Hoosiers, they finish off the undefeated season, first ever championship for them, and the job Curt Cignetti did, unbelievable. Coming from James Madison 2 years ago, Indiana, basketball school only, football doesn't matter, and now 2 losses in 2 years, a championship. You were at the game last night at Hard Rock Stadium, Lee. I guess first, just your quick observations of what you saw last night.
Well, let's first talk about we got the winner. We had the Canes plus the points. At least there's some consolation for us. We did get the winner there. A big play was Mark Fletcher Jr. over, posted total of like 71 yards. I mean, that's ridiculous. Got that almost in one carry. And so our two biggest plays, we went with Carson Beck, bet a little, win a lot, 10-1 shot. That didn't come in, but productive day for us on the national championship. And a couple of my observations, great coaching job by Cignetti. I mean, 2 years out of nowhere. I mean, this was like watching the movie Hoosiers. People didn't even go to games. The joke was if you were caught there after halftime, you must be associated with the team or a relative or something like that. After halftime, the student body used to leave if they were still there at halftime to go back to their place and back to the frat houses. So incredible. And they executed third and fourth downs. They got the job done. Didn't have a turnover. Also ran the ball better than I thought they could against Miami. So give them credit. Great game. Miami was right there. In the end, special teams punt block cost them maybe the field goal and had a shot. 52 seconds to go on the 40-yard line. Just didn't get the job done, but great game. Hats off to the Indiana Hoosiers. And one final observation on the game. I'm going to say this right now. Fernando Mendoza, system quarterback, great kid, great story, but I don't think he's a first rounder, let alone the first pick in the draft. I think he's like a third rounder and think that the Raiders are probably going to reach for him. I've studied and I know players and I know quarterbacks. He's a system first read quarterback, can only run straight ahead. Miami exposed him. I mean, when they put some heat on him, a bunch of his throws weren't even close. Yeah, the easy throws and the back shoulder was great on the fourth down. But bottom line, he missed a bunch of shows. He can't run side to side, just straight ahead. And if he goes to the Raiders or the Jets or a team like that, I think it's going to be an epic fail. If I was a GM, now people, they have obviously Tom Brady now involved, and he's whiffed on Geno Smith when they could have taken Sam Bradford. But I would trade out, get a couple firsts, couple seconds, an established player that's in maybe in his first contract. And next year's draft is absolutely loaded. This is one of the worst drafts coming up in the last 25, 30 years. Next year might be one of the best ones ever.
Now let's shift over quickly to the NFL, and we'll talk more during the week about the two conference championships, Patriots, Broncos, as well as the Rams and Seahawks. We're going to get to that later in the week. Still only a Tuesday, but the coaching cycles, now we're seeing more names getting filled in. Obviously, John Harbaugh signed his deal with the Giants. Kevin Stefanski went to the Falcons, but also Jeff Hapley went to the Miami Dolphins, and the connection there. What are you shaking your head for? Well, I haven't even finished yet. The connection there with the Packers, with the new GM who came in for Chris Greer. I mean, that's what it is, right? Isn't that the connection? It's just they work together in Green Bay. So now we're going to bring this guy in. His record wasn't great at BC, but obviously you're not a fan of this hire.
Not a fan. I think it's horrific. I mean, he goes to BC, and I think he had a 22-26 record, something like that, or 22-25 in 3 years. 2 years, absolute failure there, gets fired, becomes the Green Bay defensive coordinator. And just look at the last couple games. Yeah, he was playing without his best player, refused to blitz, refused to go after Williams, Caleb Williams. He allowed two huge comebacks. And I'm looking at his body of work, and I didn't think he was a good coordinator. I thought he should have been, probably wouldn't have been, but should have been let go by the Packers. People hold him in high regard. Not me. I think the Dolphins, another horrific hire, will set him back another 2-3 years, and that's why I'm off the Dolphins. Officially 100% off the Miami Dolphins bandwagon as a fan.
So he doesn't get to bring Micah Parsons with him, even with the knee injury. We still bring Micah Parsons. Is that part of the deal or no?
No. Sorry.
Unfortunately. We'll see. And you know what? In all seriousness, this is the worst part about it. That we'll get to more of the picks in a moment, but just to finish this thought, you couldn't keep going with McDaniel, obviously, because it just wasn't working out. But I feel like all these other teams, they find a way to hit with some of these guys, and the Dolphins just never hit. They always get the wrong guy. They could never, and I'm not for the recycled coach. Like I don't think you need to go that route either. You could find a guy that hasn't been a head coach in the NFL and hope that he can, Sean McVay was never a head coach. We saw what he did with the Rams. Kyle Shanahan, we know his lineage, but still, what he did in San Francisco, you could find those guys, but the Dolphins just can't find that guy. And it's been years and years and years, and they just can't do it.
Bad owners, bad GMs usually equals a bad coach, and that's why they don't win. There it is. Look at the Raiders. Look at the Dolphins. Look at the Jets. Just 3 teams right off the bat. And all of a sudden, they're not going to change anytime soon.
With that being said, let's go to college basketball and tonight's blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
I know this guy. We worked together at one time. Let's bring him in as the head coach. All right, so let's now look at college basketball, the Big Ten tonight. Minnesota and Ohio State meeting, and the Buckeyes a 7.5-point favorite. We're going to back the Ohio State Buckeyes here against Minnesota, and here are the reasons why. Number one, Ohio State 11th in the country in two-point percentage, nearly 60% they hit. So good inside, which is never a bad thing. Secondly, with Minnesota, I don't like when teams are off of a lot of close losses, especially average teams, because they're I know you like the word, Lee. They're due to get blown out sooner or later. And they lose in overtime to USC. They lose at the end to Wisconsin on a 3-pointer. They played very well against Illinois on Saturday. They hung in that game. They lost by 10. They covered as heavy underdogs. This team is just due to get blown out, I think, Minnesota. They're a middle-of-the-road Big Ten team. And Ohio State off a win over UCLA recently. Ohio State trying to create some consistency right now. But I just think this is more of a fate of Minnesota than really backing Ohio State, that I'm not on the Minnesota bandwagon. They've made improvements from what they were, but also all these close losses, you got to put in a dud somewhere. So we're going to take Ohio State, lay the 7.5 with them against Minnesota as our college basketball blowout special.
I'm seriously considering that game also. It almost made my card. So, and it might by the end of the day for my clients. So good pick there. Yeah. And I hate to say it. Yeah. We talk about due to get blown out, but it does happen. You have those close losses and the public will be, oh, they're due to win. No, right. They're more due to get blown out.
Yeah. So we'll see how that turns out tonight in Columbus between the Gophers and the Buckeyes. Coming up, we have a Big 12 matchup, K-State and Utah. We're going to get to as our hidden gem. That is straight ahead. You are listening to the Tuesday edition of Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and we are just rolling on in the NFL playoffs. And so you basically know what time it is. It's playoff mode for FanDuel. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts. You can apply to the bets you like most. You can open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boost you want to apply. And the boosts that give you more juice than the bet you already like, you could do that instead of doing something new. We're down to 4 teams in the NFL now with the Rams and Seahawks in the NFC, Broncos, Patriots in the AFC. So you got plenty of choices there. With sides, with totals, with money lines, with player props. So many choices you have. Every play feels bigger, and the boost make your bets feel that way too. You make your picks, then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. We continue Locked On Bets here on a Tuesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. So we got our first college basketball play in. Now let's look at number 2 in the Little Apple between Utah and K-State for our hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
How many people would have thought, Lee, that Utah and K-State would combine for one conference win at this point of the season? But here we are, and the Utes off a win over TCU, and K-State still seeking their first Big 12 win. But the Wildcats, a substantial favorite tonight at home against the Utes. So what do you like here?
The only more hidden gem here would be if I went at it with 2 8-10 or 2 7-11 teams, but 2 9-9 teams here. Kansas State, a lot was thought of this team here. They're off 5 straight losses, but they do possess one thing. They can score 85.5 points per game, 47% from the field this year, and they share the ball well. They shoot from the perimeter a lot, 19.2 assists per game, which is a lot for most college teams. They're going to be playing a Utah team that I think lacks perimeter defense. So if you share the ball and you can shoot from the outside, I think you can exploit Utah. And 2 9-9 teams here, you're like 8.5 points. That's a lot of points here for a team that's 0-5 in conference play. Well, it's going to be a hidden gem. Kansas State blowout tonight here over Utah.
Yeah, it should be a good college card tonight. Had a lot of exciting games over the weekend, and now that college football is in the rearview mirror, a lot of focus on college basketball moving forward. So with that being said, Lee, NBA, college basketball, NHL, the 2 games in the NFL conference championships on Sunday, we're rolling along, and so is Paramount Sports.
Yep. They want to get involved. Got UFC coming back after, I think it's like a 6-week hiatus, a really good card, couple championship bouts. So you want to get involved with that. Probably go up tomorrow. And that's fun to get back going on Saturday nights. Doesn't start at 10 o'clock. The main cards will be starting at 9 o'clock, and they're on Paramount, and they're free. You don't have to pay for these pay-per-views anymore. And basketball, 2 championship games. We'll discuss them in detail starting tomorrow. We're not just going to have the games. We'll also have a ton of player props. I got to study a lot of film on Jarrett Stidham. Got to go back to the 2023 season to see how he's going to maybe match up against this really good New England defense, which stifled Houston. I think they had like 6 turnovers, something like that, or 5 turnovers. So that should be fun. And basketball and hockey rolling right along. Check it all out, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets. Even though the college football is done, still plenty of games every single day. And also you can find the podcast version, Locked On Bets, on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back with you coming up on Wednesday for another edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.